Hi everyone, and welcome to another session of whereby I give you some tips and advice. Now I'm at one of our investment properties and I'm here for a sole reason, and that is because I'm aware that our build team have now got most of the stud work up that subdivides the property into various size rooms. Now, whilst you may get an architect involved in designing the layout of a property that you're refurbishing, it's important that what is on plan you feel comfortable with on site. And I'm a bugger for going on site and maybe changing things. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but obviously if you do decide to change things, then you need to be conscious that those changes incur costs. And that's very, very important. Now, if you decide to change something and you say to your builder, look, I want this, your builder's well within his right to obviously charge you for doing that. So bear that in mind. You've got to be fair. You can't expect tradesmen or builders to do things for free all the time. Now, you might get the odd builder who will say, okay, look, it's not going to take me that much time, so I will alter this for you free of charge. But hey ho, it's all about developing relationships with your builders. Now, you might see behind me, we've got a stud wall. And I'm actually on the ground floor of this investment property. There's 2 stories above me, and this is going to be one almighty beast of a house. Now, the position of the stud wall behind me segregates and creates a lounge, as well as what we've got, a diner, open plan kitchen. Now, as soon as I walked in through the hallway, which I'm going to show you, if I just take this little instrument with me, okay, you can see behind me we've got a hallway, okay. Now, as soon as I walked into this property, I felt that there was a pinch point, okay. So coming in from the doorway, okay, here, into this, into the porch, hallway, whichever you want to call it, I felt that there was a pinch point just here, because what we had to do, which wasn't on plan, was build this structural pillar to be able to take the steel above. And of course, that has then reduced the size between, or the distance between the pillar and the walkway. So for me, straight away, as soon as I walked in, there was a pinch point, which didn't make me feel comfortable. And not only that, as you can see the stud work here, I was hoping that that would be maybe set back a little bit further, so that when you do walk in through the doorway of the hall, and you see the dining room and the kitchen area, or what is going to be a dining room kitchen area, there would be an immediate wow factor. And then when I looked at the lounge, or the size of the lounge, now don't get me wrong, it is very big. But in proportion to the rest of the property, I just felt it wasn't big enough. So, what are the implications? Well, obviously with the stud work, the ideal position would be to, construct it below the steel beam so that we can hide the steel beam when we come to plasterboard everything. But for me, this is an important factor, that it doesn't feel right. So if we're coming to sell this property, are people or potentially buyers going to feel the same? So it is incredibly important, not only for me, but also for, as I say, potential buyers, that when they walk into this property, they get that wow factor. And I'm really, really fussy when it comes to these type of things. So, as you can see, the stud wall dividing the lounge from the dining room has been constructed, and it's directly under the beam. Now, what I want to do is, or what I'm going to ask the builders to do, is I'm going to ask them to take this stud wall down, okay, and I'm going to ask them to move it in line with the staircase pillar here, but also move it from there, okay, over to here. So we're going to create an extra 1 meter of space in the lounge, okay. Now that's going to obviously proportion, I feel, the lounge in comparison to the rest of the property. And not only that, what we'll then do is we'll actually cut this stud work back when we move it to this stud here, from here, so that then when it is positioned over there, you'll have a direct view from when you come in from the hallway to see the open plan diner, kitchen, and when the bifold doors go in, the garden as well. Now that for me is incredibly important. Now what I'm trying to say here is, if when you come to site and something doesn't feel right, go with your gut feeling, okay? Now obviously cost is important because I know, and I've already done it, okay? I've had a chat with the builders. They've actually gone to get some food now because it's lunchtime. But I've had a chat with them. I said, listen guys, sorry to break the news to you, but I need this stud wall moved from A to B. And they didn't seem to mind probably when I go, or they've walked out to get their food. They're cursing me. But look, it is important that you do things that feel right for you, okay? Now straight away, I know they're going to charge me extra for this because there's probably, I would say, 3 hours work involved in moving this wall, this stud wall, but also they're going to have to add on a bit of extra timber as well, so we're going to have to buy some extra timber. So what is this going to cost me? I would say it's going to cost around about probably, I don't know, £60 maybe less if I'm lucky. But don't forget, builders are well within their right to charge you extra for making amendments. So as I say, it is very, very important that you don't just rely on architects' drawings. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with architects in what they do a fantastic job, but it's the feel, yeah? It's like, another example I can give you is very often, well, I remember a couple of years ago, we decided to have some wallpaper put in on a feature wall in one of our bedrooms in our house. And when we saw the wallpaper, it looked lovely. It looked absolutely gorgeous online. When we had it delivered, it looked superb on a roll. And then when we put it up on the wall, the first sheet, we didn't like it. So rather than just go for it because we'd bought it, we decided it was going to be important to change it. And it's just so important that when you're investing in property and you're particularly going to look to maybe flip the property, that you get things right. And I cannot stress, the sooner and more often that you check things on site on a regular basis, the sooner you can identify things like this. Because you imagine, just imagine, okay, if, for example, the electricians had already run all their wires in this stud wall, and the plumbers had done their pipe work for the radiators, and then you decided to move it, or even it had been insulated, plasterboarded and plastered, and then you decided to move it, you imagine how much that would cost then. So it is important that you visit your investment properties when they're being refurbished on a regular basis to make sure that you get it right. Anyway, I hope you find this advice useful. If you do and you're watching this video on one of our channels, please give us a like and obviously subscribe, and then we'll send you more tips, tricks and advice as and when we share them online. So until next time, ciao for now.